Hello and good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Welcome to this week's new episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mr. BoomStick XL, and of course, I am here with the elusive gamer, aka Mr. Mass Effect, aka Jamie Moran. What's going on, Jamie? It has been a wild couple of days for Xbox. Once again, for I believe you said it was the third week in a row. The Xbox doom and gloom, the Xbox is dead, the Xbox is being pulled off shelf, has come to a fervor. And I really do think, folks, and I know there's going to be people in the chat that are going to get mad at me for saying it, but this is proof in the pudding, so to speak, of why there is Xbox tax. I know it's an easy out for some, and some people are going to disagree with me. And if you do, that's fine. But I think that it's blatantly obvious that the games media, the gaming industry that we know and we see on a regular basis do not like Xbox. They want Xbox gone. Now, there's been some talk about whether, these communities are quote unquote afraid of Xbox. And I mean, I'm not afraid of anybody. So I don't think anybody's afraid of Xbox. I think what Xbox is doing is out of necessity. I think the changes in regards to their ideology of multiplat, of what console hardware looks like, what partnered hardware will be in a couple of days, I think all of that is in response to them losing for so many years to Sony and Nintendo. And you know what? They want to make money. As a matter of fact, they are making money, ladies and gentlemen, and they're making a lot of it. So Xbox is not going anywhere. But Jamie Moran, how you feeling, brother? Welcome back.
Hey man, happy to be here. It's been a wild weekend. It's like people still can't like relax on weekends. We still have to find something to run with. You know, what can we bash Xbox about now? What can we clickbait? And man, like for me to get added so many times over a weekend, just pictures of empty shelves of like year or plus like 2-year-old photos.
Yes.
Like, come on. Like people go out of their way to do this on weekends, and it's kind of sad. But hey, it is what it is. We'll get into it because it's going to be a spicy topic. But it just goes to show, like, you know, some people say the Xbox tax is or isn't real. I personally think that some things are blatantly obvious, and some things aren't. And there's people that just try to make it look like they're not part of the console war when they really are, and if anything, they push it more than anyone. But obviously, we'll get into all that.
Yeah, no, we are. We're gonna have a good time talking about it. But folks, that's not the only topic we're talking about. That is the opening salvo. Infinite Umbra, we're gonna be getting into the Halo leaks. Now, next week, folks, is the Halo Championships, ladies and gentlemen, and we are not getting just one. We are getting two reveals. We have a bunch of information coming the way of Mr. Halo himself, Rebs Gaming. We also have Halo Leaks, who is, they have a Twitter account, which they're sitting at almost 42,000 followers, and I've been following them for years. They are legit, and they have some new information on what to expect. But we got to get into also, which is going to be the second topic of the show, is the FABLE information. That comes the way of Jez Corden of Windows Central, who was having a casual conversation with someone on Twitter. We're going to get into it. If you're asking how do I find these things, folks, I don't live on Twitter, but I do read a lot. And that's because I have to, because I do run 5 shows per week, and sometimes even one on Saturday. But hey, Umbra, how you feeling, brother? We got a lot to get into. And of course, we were talking in the DM about Xbox being under the magnifying glass for the third week in a row. Pretty hilarious stuff, man. How you feeling?
I'm okay, Boom. How are you all this morning? Good morning.
Good.
Good morning to the chat. Jamie, what time is it for you?
It's 5:05 p.m.
Oh, okay. Well, good evening to you. I knew. I'm like, I don't think it's morning for him. Yeah, but yeah, good morning, fellas. Yeah, a lot of interesting things coming up. I'm very excited for Halo. I want to see what comes up with that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Good morning. I see you, Elemental PO, and everyone else who said good morning. Music, you're on my list for talking about. Oh, you woke? Yes, I am woke.
Yeah, he
Music,
is awoke. Yes, he is awoken, I should say.
I am awoken. But yeah, yes, good week, good week, good week. I had, I've been playing that game. I don't know if we're going to go into too much what we've been playing, but I have been playing Absalom.
Oh,
You
dude,
all
I
heard of
bought it
that?
on Switch, and I'm buying it for the ROG Xbox Ally on
Nice.
Steam. How about
Yes,
them
sir.
apples?
Yes, I
The
like
game
it.
is legit great,
Yeah,
dude.
it's pretty dope. It's as they call it, a rogue 'em up, right? Like it's a beat 'em up, but
Yeah,
with
it
rogue
is a rogue 'em up. Yeah,
sensibilities.
that's a really good term. You know what I say, folks? I know people are pissed off about that game not coming to Xbox, and I get it, folks. I'm right there with you. If you don't have any other
Yeah,
consoles like I do, you want it on Xbox. I think every game should come to Xbox because there are gamers that will pay for it. What we can do as a community is if you do want to see this game, because right now there are no plans for it, and there are reasons, and they broke it down. I didn't like what they had to say, the studio, but they're a tiny studio, folks. So if you want this game to come to Xbox, and if you are someone that's buying the Xbox Ally X or S, this is an opportunity to kind of dip your toe into Steam, get a game, and maybe some sales of this game will of course invoke them wanting to put it on Xbox. Yeah, I mean it's just a thought, but that is a dope ass game though.
yeah, for sure. I'm loving it. I got pretty far, but I didn't get to. I think there's supposed to be a third island. I heard about. Anyway, really enjoying it. I encourage anyone who can get it to try it out. I think you might like it. Co-op too,
Yeah.
so that's pretty cool.
Well, listen, gentlemen, chat, we got to get into what was another slobber knocker of a weekend for Xbox, where I don't think that the PR people at Xbox sleep, because when they do, this is the kind of stuff that happens. Now, obviously, many of what occurred, or many of these situations that occurred, started at the beginning with Shinobi 602. Now, there are some people in the chat that don't like him. There may even be somebody on the panel that doesn't like him. And you know what? I don't know him personally. I like some of the stuff that he does with the community. And there are things that he does that I don't like, folks. And what I didn't like is he ran a narrative for Xbox being taken out of both Target and Walmart on a photo from, of all places, Reddit. Now, yes, we did cover this yesterday, but there has been some additional information from the Target representatives, as well as a post regarding Walmart. Now, I don't have the exact Walmart post because it's not available. I am going to read what I do have. Walmart has been reached out to. As of today's show at 12:08, there has not been a response. We'll get into that. But apparently, Xbox is dying. Xbox is leaving the gaming business. Xbox is not doing hardware. And now Xbox is being taken out of all retail stores. And of course, all of this stems from the Costco report, where Costco is no longer carrying Xbox products. That was a business decision. I don't know why they're doing it, but that's what happened. Well, this is what spiraled out of control. And unfortunately for Shinobi 602, he was community noted as of today. And the community note comes the way of his original posting, where it is a picture from Reddit that dates back to 2023, and it is a picture of the Target aisle where it shows Halo Infinite, Minecraft poster. It even has the Xbox fridge there, as well as Flight Simulator, and on there as well is Elden Ring, which is old. The Hogwarts game, old, and more specifically, that kind of points out why it's from 2023 is WWE 2023. So what wind up happening is Shinobi set the internet on fire by this post. And he basically stated in his tweet, and I have it in front of me, Target and Walmart seemingly pulling stock from the store shelves. And he has a link to the gamer.com Target /Walmart. So, of course, unfortunately for Shinobi 602, he was community noted, and it says here the original photograph is from 2023 or possibly older, as they still have Xbox 360 games on the shelves. Yikes! Jamie, look, this is like you and I were discussing in the green room, the third week in a row where Xbox had to respond to rumors and speculation about them not only leaving the industry, leaving the hardware business, and of course now having their wares removed from some of the biggest retailers around the world. And they've all been false, and they've all been, addressed by Microsoft and by Xbox. It is funny that when you just take just, and again, folks, I kind of want to paint this picture for you, so please walk with me on this. Ghost of Yotai comes out, and it is reviewed very well. A lot of people that I've read a lot of reviews on it. I'm not playing it because I'm playing some other things. Some things I can talk about, some things I cannot. I am inundated with having to review a bunch of games. One of which is The Outer Worlds 2. I am reviewing it. I will have my review up when the embargo lifts. And you know what? We'll talk about it. I believe it's the 24th, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't buy Ghost of Yotai, not because it's a terrible game, not because I don't want to support Sucker Punch, it's or Sony or PlayStation. It's I don't have the time, and I don't want to throw away $80 when I'm spending near $1,400 at the end of the week for the Xbox Ally X and all the accessories that come with it. And that's going to be another time sink because I have to do unboxings. I got to show people what it looks like. I got to make time for myself to actually use the device and play. But it's interesting when you look at how quiet PlayStation has been in the last couple of years, but we're going to focus in on 2025, right? They've had baby steps come out to a wet fart, right? Nobody expected much from that game. It is what we thought it was. No one's playing it. No one's talking about it. And it is a 9 out of 10 for IGN, but you can't spell ignorant without IGN. Let's just say that. You have Ghost of Yotai, very well reviewed. The game looks gorgeous. I saw a review that really struck a chord with me. I don't remember who wrote it. I have it in my notes that said that if you enjoyed the first game, they made this game specifically for you, and everything that they did was better than the other one. That's all I needed to hear. I'm excited to play it. I'll get it at the end of the year. But outside of that, baby steps and MLB The Show. Now, granted, those are all first party. You do have an exclusive in Kojima's joint that came out. It sold, I guess, okay, but nothing record breaking, and that's fine because I didn't buy it. I'm gonna play Death Stranding 2 on the beach when it comes to Xbox next year, but they haven't had a lot this year. Well, interestingly enough, that's 4 games, right? That's 4 games, ladies and gentlemen. Xbox, who's dying, Xbox, who is leaving the business, who is not making hardware, has 4 games coming out in the next 40-something days. In the next 2 months, they have Keeper, Ninja Gaiden 4, The Outer Worlds 2, and Black Ops 7 in the next 2 months. And on top of that, they have 2 pieces of OEM handheld hardware that are Xbox branded releasing at the end of the week. What are we doing, Jamie Moran, when Xbox is putting out the games? Xbox is partnering to put out their first handheld ever. And yes, it is OEM. Yes, it is a partnered device, but it is an Xbox, regardless of what you say or you don't. It has the Xbox button on it, folks. It has the Xbox UI that's designed by the Xbox team. I don't get it. So with all of this good news, somehow or another, it's being eclipsed by all of the made up shit that continues to happen. It is wild. And this weekend proves that the Xbox tax is real. Let's get your thoughts, man.
If you remove all of the Xbox stuff that's been happening over the past few weeks, if you move all that, and if you move like the smaller like news stories around like new games coming out, there aren't really any big stories. And I 100% believe what's going on is taking advantage of the Game Pass situation and dragging it on over weeks for content. It's the only way to explain it. Because if you take one negative story, let's say, let's look at Sony, right? Sony shut down a studio last year that put out a game that was only available for 2 weeks, Concord. Concord became the biggest flop of gaming history.
Yes.
Right? More so than E.T. E.T. from the Atari 2600 has a documentary about it because they had so many copies they had to fill. There was landfill of E.T. Right? Yet you have Concord, a bigger failure than E.T. And some people talked about it for like a week and then it was forgotten about. The studio was shut down. You didn't have these mega huge content creators making videos about it with the angry face saying PlayStation's dead. You didn't see this. You didn't see this on any level. But yes, we're still talking about Concord. See, this is the problem. You have some people in your chat, not all, but I see some that clearly have the IQ of a peanut because I'm using it as an example.
Right.
Right.
But they get in their feelings because God forbid you should give any smoke for Sony. Just saying.
And the thing is, right, if we take that situation, right, they shut down a studio, cancelled a game that was available for 2 weeks, and you fast forward a year, and Microsoft shuts down a studio like The Initiative, who never put out a game. We only saw a vertical slice of Perfect Dark, and when they shut down that studio, it was the end of the world. It was the end of Xbox. Anything that happens on Xbox's side is the end of Xbox. Doom and gloom. The sky is fallen, and we could have the same thing on different sides, but they both tread differently, right? So we eventually move on from that, and then the Game Pass thing happens, right? Game Pass had a price hike, right? I do not like price hikes. I complain all the time about price. Boom, you've seen me do this on a daily basis. I don't even like. I complained about $70 games for 5 years, right? So like, I'm going to complain about price hikes. However, Game Pass going up in price isn't the end of the world like people made it out to be. Right? I saw streamers with millions of subscribers that clearly have millions of dollars posting their I've cancelled Game Pass post because it gets them engagement. And guess what? It's a business, right? That's why they do it. And I've seen this so many times. And then you have this past week where people start seeing this picture of shelves in the US of, Xbox stock being taken away or whatever. By the way, notice if there's Xboxes on a shelf, people say Xbox is dead. But if there's no Xboxes on a shelf, people say Xbox is dead. So
great point.
So they're either selling or they're not selling. But in both realities, we have to pretend that it's a bad thing. Anyway, so Microsoft, there's this picture going around of like a Walmart or something of like next to no Xbox games or consoles on a shelf, and people say Target, Walmart, Costco, all this stuff is they're going to stop selling Xbox stuff, and then we get the doom and gloom of this past weekend. But everyone ran with it straight away. Clickbait videos, clickbait live streams, news articles, and I posted this yesterday. I miss when game journalism was game journalism. Right? When people used to do investigative reporting, check up on sources before writing a bloody article. But they don't do that anymore. It's the race. It's a race who can get the fastest and most amount of likes. Sorry, most amount of views, right? It's been this way for years, and I can't stand it. And this is why I give Jez Corden from Windows Central a lot of props, right? Rather than writing an article that would get them a lot of views, he went up to see what was going on at Xbox, what was going on at these supermarkets or whatever, and corroborated a story or whatever, and to see if the thing was real, right? And it turns out it was all BS. People posting pictures saying like, "Oh, look, Xbox is like pulling stock from shelves or whatever," and then certain people like, "Oh no, I was just using this picture as an example." That is extremely misleading. Extremely misleading. When you have tens of thousands of followers, right? Like I have like 40,000 followers on Twitter. I walk on eggshells, right? When it comes to how I word things, right? I've learned the hard way. I walk on eggshells, but I still speak my mind. And if you're obligated to be honest to people, and that was extremely dishonest. And there's a lot of people in the gaming space where they act like they aren't part of the console war, but they are. They say that they aren't part of the console war. They say they don't want Xbox to leave the gaming industry. Yet every single negative Xbox centric thing that happens, they post about it. Look at Jeff Keighley. Every time Sony has raised the price of consoles this generation, he's barely posted about it. But when Xbox raises the price, he mentions it. Sony shuts down Concord, the studio. I think they were called Firewalk, and he posts Firewalk is shutting down. Yet all the replies were like, "Who's shutting down Firewalk Studios?" But Microsoft shuts down a studio, and all of a sudden we have to name Microsoft. Everyone at Microsoft that was responsible for the studio shutting down, and I could go on and on about this. Right? Is it Xbox tax? We can call it whatever people want. The evidence is there that every single time something comes up, people lose their minds. Look at the whole thing with the Game Pass situation with, having different resolutions behind different tiers, right? Do you know most streaming services charge more for 4K streaming, right? It's never brought up. Everyone's fine with it. But when Xbox decides to do it for their xCloud, it's the end of the world. But yet none of these assholes, I'm sorry for swearing, none
That's
of these
okay.
a-holes actually did the same thing for, like, how Sony charges for cloud saves. Yet saves for video games, they aren't in the gigabytes. They're like megabytes, right? But they charge for cloud saves. Not a single big YouTuber has mentioned this, and they get a pass. Nintendo, they raise the price of games to $80. They get a pass. Mario Kart is going to cost $80, or it did cost $80 when it came out, and it got a pass because, what's this? It's a shiny open world racing game, never done before. Yet we have Forza Horizon 5, came out like 4 years ago, photorealistic graphics, and that launched at $59.99, right? All these other companies get passes for these little things, and Xbox is held to a higher standard.
Yep.
Right? And don't get me wrong, Xbox messes up, right?
Of course they do, and we give them the smoke when they do.
Like raising the price of consoles multiple times.
Ridiculous.
Awful. Game Pass going up the way it did, awful. The way they've gone about shutting studios, awful, right? I can go on and on, right? But at the end of the day, all these companies, none of these companies are our best friends, right? They all mess up. However, Microsoft, they always brought up a lot. And guess what? If you make a video saying something negative about PlayStation, you're going to get significantly less views than making a Xbox is dead video, Xbox is bad video, because the proof is in the pudding. It's all there. People have hated on Xbox for over 20 years. They've never liked the idea of Xbox in the console space, and people they show it every day. People from major gaming news outlets, people on Twitter. And like, look, I made a post yesterday about how I don't think Grand Theft Auto should cost a penny more than $70. And I had multiple replies calling me an Xbot, and I don't know what I'm talking about. I was posting about Grand Theft Auto, right? People have this, let's call it a gene, right? They have this gene where they need to hate on anything regarding Xbox, even if it's not about Xbox, right? I post about what film I'm watching every night, and I'll have some negative Xbox-centric replies. Like, who the hell are you talking to? It makes no sense. Everything has to be about Xbox, and it has to be bad. Sony releases their brand new game, Ghost of Yotai, and nobody's talking about it. And it's meant to be a really great game, right? So why aren't people talking about this really good game, but they're talking about all this Xbox stuff? It's because negativity gets more clicks. And like, boom, we've talked about this many times. Like, if you have a video that's said, if it's labeled something as like Xbox is dead, that is going to get 100 times more views than, hey, Xbox did this cool thing, right? it's the unfortunate world we live in, but it is what it is. We just have to roll with it. And the fact that it's happened 3 weekends in a row, 3 weekends in a row, if it isn't obvious to everyone by now, then I have a bridge to sell them. Like I don't know what to say because it's tiring at this point. Like Xbox, they've had their best first party release schedule ever this year. They shadow dropped an Elder Scrolls game. Yeah, it's the end of Xbox and Xbox is dead. Okay. The Xbox division makes billions of dollars a year outside of Game Pass alone. It doesn't even make any financial sense for Microsoft to get out the console business, right? People act like there's like 4 dudes in the corner of a room that own an Xbox. It's tens of millions of people. Tens of millions of people putting in money into the ecosystem every single day. And you have people that will make clickbait influencing thousands, tens of thousands, if not millions of people that, oh yeah, Xbox is dead, Xbox hatred, blah, 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 blah. And it's a never-ending cycle. It's a snowball effect we see every day. And who knows? We've got a couple of days to the weekend, so let's see what happens this weekend.
Well, I mean, obviously, at the end of the week, you have the ROG Xbox Ally X and S, and I'm calling it that. You know, it's one is the X and one is obviously just the Xbox Ally. It's the white one. It's $599 for one, $1,000 for the other. I saw somebody in the chat say that it's going to fail because it's $1,000. I mean, I don't know if it's going to fly off the shelves at a grand. I mean, we're in 2025, but there are a lot of people that I've talked to that are looking forward to the smaller version, the white version of it, which is $599. It would have been great if it would have been $499. I think it would have really flown off shelves, but I think no matter which one you go with, you're going to enjoy it. It's an OEM device, at least the first OEM device that we're going to see this year. We might see another one unveiled at the Game Awards, which could be the one that's going to be underneath your TV for next year. That's just a rumor, but we'll get to that at another time. But Malcolm LAX3 says, nah, people will buy it. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to buy it. I'm one of them, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. But Umbra, I want to bring you in and get your hot takes on this, but I want to bring some context into this. So after we saw the response from Xbox where they confirmed that they are, that Target and Walmart are valued partners and they will continue to sell their wares, we had a message or a representative from Target actually address what was being reported via some of the very, very popular news sites. And this is the exact quote, and this is the presser, ladies and gentlemen, from Target. It says, we continue to sell Xbox consoles, games, and accessories, both in-store and on the Target.com website. Select items are currently not showing up on Target.com because they are sold out. But once they are available again, consumers will see them on Target.com and be able to purchase them. So I was looking for a quote from Walmart, which I was unable to find, but I did, when you just type in something and you get an AI response. Well, here is the AI response regarding my question about whether or not Walmart had responded. And it says the following social media rumors in October of 2025, a Microsoft representative publicly stated that Walmart remains committed as partners for Xbox consoles, accessories, and games. A Walmart representative did not immediately respond to a request for comment, but reporting has confirmed Xbox products were still for sale at Walmart stores and online. So, of course, it's not an official statement, folks, from Walmart, but obviously it's a big part of the conversation. But you know what I want to do? You know how I feel about naming the names? I normally don't do that, folks, right? Like look, when we're talking about people doing, stories about this, well, you got to call them out. You got to know who I'm talking about. Well, I could have added about 17 websites here. These are the ones that just right off the clip. The Gamer, who I've never heard of. Target and Walmart are pulling their Xbox stock according to alleged, pictures. Comicbook.com did a story as well as Game Grant of all places. And you also had, and I'm very surprised at them, and they've kind of been in the crosshairs of many people in the Xbox community because obviously, listen, folks, when you say Xbox is dead, and Jamie's right, I believe Ray from Dirt Show did a test video like Xbox is dead. And I think he got like 10,000 views on it because everybody thinks Xbox is dying. Everybody wants Xbox to die. It's an Xbox tax, folks, that is very blatant. BGT Gaming News actually did a monster-sized topic on Twitter, and they have a website as well. And I gotta tell you, man, like, is anybody actually doing investigative journalism anymore? Like, you see a picture and you just go. Like, I mean, and I really do think that the ideology with these sites is fastest first. I think Jamie's right with that. No checking to make sure that the picture is not from 2 or 3 years ago, where there's Xbox 360 games on the shelf. Like, come on, man. Can we just be better? Umbra, I know that you had a lot to say in the DM, and I really want to get your hot takes on this because thank goodness for actual journalists like Jez Corden, who actually made some calls. And again, I got to give props to Destin Legary, who actually called these stores and spoke to someone. Larry Herb himself made a comment, and I don't have it in front of me. I can find Larry Herb's comment, but he actually went to a Target where he found everything in its place. There were consoles. I think he said there were no Series X, but there were Series S consoles, and that's because the Series X has been selling out. Now, is it flying off shelves at the PS5? It's not. The way Xbox is making these Series X consoles are just enough to put in a few stores. They don't want to flood the market, so they're just sitting there. That's what they're doing. Why? Listen, I don't run Xbox. I couldn't tell you. But Umbra, I want to get your hot takes on, once again, week number 3. Again, everyone that complained, including myself, about the Xbox Game Pass price increase, well-deserved smoke. They should. I still think it was $5 too much. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. But then, of course, that smoke led to, of course, Xbox hardware gone. And now week number 3 is hardware, accessories, games gone off shelves. Another false narrative. Let's get your hot take on this, man.
Sorry, I'm muted. Just to throw out another name, since we were naming a few, as far as people who, did the journalism job. Shout out to the brother Mikey J. Raymond, who was the person who wrote the article for Windows Central. He's a contributor there.
Yes,
who wrote that. So shout out to him. And he had to defend his honor on Twitter, as I had shared with you guys. For people who doubted the article itself and their journalistic integrity, I suppose I could say. And so, some people did do it. And I've seen in different chats where people were giving Jez like smoke and saying like, he's basically a mouthpiece for Microsoft and things like that, and trying to write them off when they're actually doing the work that people will complain about. So it's like, okay, you can't, tear people down and then say, hey, do the journalism job. And then when they're doing it, be like, oh, I don't believe you though. You're a shield. It's like, okay, what do you want? You got to pick something. You know what I mean? So there lies the rub, I suppose. But yeah, shout out again to Mikey J. Raymond, who did write that article, apparently.
Yeah, I will add both of those articles to the show notes as well.
Yeah, and Microsoft, he reached out, they reached out, and Microsoft told them what they told them. So it wasn't like they just made that up. You know what I mean? And I mean, to me, it also comes down to like common sense. I feel like some things I know the FUD gets out there, and I know it's been a lot of ups and downs with Microsoft, right, with Xbox. So people kind of like, oh, maybe that's true. But if they just raised the price, I think it's kind of common sense. If they had just raised Game Pass prices, you should probably know they're not going out anytime soon. Like, what would be the point of them doing that? Do you think they're going to try to capitalize on on clouds like service or something like that, while nobody has a console to play the games on,
Right.
or PC, when most of the majority of their revenue comes from Xbox. Like it's pretty obvious. I thought that would have been obvious, so I didn't really put much stock into it, and it saved me plenty of Tylenol because I didn't need the headache, right? So I don't know, it's stupid, and that's part of what we talk about when we say the Xbox tax. It's not like, oh, I hate Xbox. It's a specific kind of unconscious bias that people have that would lead them to looking for a confirmation bias of negativity. You know what I mean? And people thrive on that, honestly. And you just spoke about it a second ago with Ray. Shout out to Ray, and shout out to to Dirt and the guys. That when you put something negative, in particular, something negative about Xbox, and in general, I will say negativity, and it's just a few things that online that typically sales. I don't want to say it here since this is a morning show, but sexy time is one, and negativity is another.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And unfortunately, people thrive on that. And I've often had that discussion before. Like, why is it that I'm having this, I'm doing that, I feel like I'm doing a good show, and I'll have this, and not to say that I'm not happy with the people that show up, and then I'll see somebody, the end of such and such, and it's like some negative, nonsensical, boogeyman complaint or worry.
I mean,
And,
it is Halloween.
3,000 people in live. Like, what's going on here? Like, people will tell you they don't want to hear the negativity, that they want positivity, that they want people to succeed. And then every time you look, those same people are there feeding the monster. You all have to pick a lane and you have to stay in it. I don't go back and forth with the whole thought of, Xbox is over, it's over. I don't do that. I guess I do have a bit of the luxury because I've moved to PC, but I have no worry for them, at least until next gen. I feel like next gen, it could be a toss up on how they move from there. I don't think it'll be the end, but I think it'll be, possibly a third party OEM situation. But I don't think, and I've said this the last show, I do not care if it's that. If I am an Xbox gamer and you can still get me my games on, let's say it's an Asus Xbox, I couldn't care less. Well, Microsoft didn't make it personally. Who cares? Can I play my games on it?
Yeah.
Like, that is such a nonsensical kind of goalpost move to me. I find that irrelevant. And yes, rest in peace to D'Angelo. He passed away. To the neo soul legend. Very sad. He passed away from cancer. I see you, Shine Films. And if you all don't know D'Angelo from Soul, you would know him from Red Dead Redemption 2, the song at the end. What is it? Unshaken. I think it's Unshaken. But anyway, all that said, the whole speculation here with the image, and I don't want to try to put the man down because Shinobi, I might as well name names. No need to be dancing around. I think Shinobi is a decent guy.
I agree as well.
Yeah, I don't have any negatives necessarily to say about him, but I will point out, or I will say at the very least, once I found out that image was like, it showed 2 years, to shout out to J-Rock who posted it. And I went to go look it up myself, as you saw, Boom. And I'm like, okay, it shows a year for me. It wouldn't matter one way. If it's even 5 months old and you're using that as a current thing, it would come off fairly deceitful, would come off very dishonest. And I get his claim that, well, I just grab images all over to kind of tell the story I'm telling. But brother, you have thousands of people following you. And if you post that image along with those words, especially when you have so many other people talking about, I went to Target, I went to Best Buy, I went to Circuit City, it no longer exists, but I went to Circuit City, and posting images of an empty area for Xbox, you're gonna feed that machine. You're gonna make people think this is a real current day image right here of an empty shelved portion for Xbox inside the store. And I think he should have used a disclaimer. Maybe at the very least, use a disclaimer. This is not a current image. This is old. I'm just using this for that. You know what I mean? And and sometimes that slips. I've had an instance where I felt like, man, maybe I should have named this. I've used article work, for instance, from Windows Central, and I did see Jez point that out on the show with him and Rand, where he said, I wish guys would just at least credit us,
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, sometimes all it takes is to simply say something, right? And if you're posting that, again, you have to be aware, you have to be cognizant of the responsibility of your I guess position in the community. And he has a good amount of people following him and that trust what he posts. I'm one of them. You know what I mean? So I appreciate what he posts. Shout out to Hazardor. I trust Hazardor when he posts
He's
things.
He's one of the good ones for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. He's in the chat as a matter of fact.
I see him.
So shout out to Hazardor in the chat, brother. Thanks so much for popping in.
And he was saying the difference between him and Shinobi is that he posts rumors for Xbox and PlayStation, but Shinobi only an Xbox. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not trying to throw shade at him. I don't want anyone to take that way. I know some people are like, oh, he's a pony. I don't know if that's necessarily the truth.
He
may
prefers
be more
PlayStation, but it doesn't make him a bad guy, brother. Like I really think there is a distinction where I know it's super easy to label somebody a pony, and maybe he has. I don't watch everything he does, so maybe he has been slanderous with Xbox. I couldn't tell you because he's not one of the mains. I like Shinobi. I've followed him for years. The mains that I go to is, Hazardor Gaming, who's in the chat right now. He's one of the really good ones, and there are a few others.
Mm-hmm.
So
somebody
if he
said
did
more like
slander,
more like Shinobi. Don't you mean more like Shiponi? No, I'm joking. Anyway, go ahead, boy. I'm joking.
I mean, no, but honestly, look, if he is a PlayStation first dude, okay, it doesn't make him a pony. Has he done things to levy that title? I couldn't tell you, folks. Honestly, I don't know. But this was a bit reckless. Where if you just look at the actual where the picture came from, on Reddit, where I'm sure he got it from. It clearly says 2023.
Definitely where he got it from. Yeah. I mean, well, he could have got it from image search on Google, right? Which would
he could, sure.
But yeah. And again, I'm not faulting him for grabbing. I've done that before, where I grab the image to tell a story of what I'm talking about. But I don't do it recklessly, where I'm like, oh, the Xbox is being removed from stores. Here's an image that would tell that story of that being true. And so that's why I say he just has to be careful from that. Again, I'm not trying to besmirch the man's honor or integrity. I believe him when he says he was just grabbing an image to kind of, send the story home of what the rumor is. I just think that, in that position, you have to be more careful what you do there. And at least, again, just a little disclaimer. It would have gone a long way, I think, right? Because now the man has gotten, community noted, like you said, the dreadful community note, Twitter community note. So that, I don't know how he would take that. I'm pretty sure he's like, whatever. But yeah, it's just, I would just say you just got to be mindful of that going forward. And it just creates more FUD. And I know a lot of people started getting at him over it. It doesn't take much. Yeah. I've seen it happen to me. I remember one time I was talking about this is what I mean by it doesn't take much, where people can lose trust or, get emotional. The Spider-Man 2 came out, and I was complaining about how they made Mary Jane look. I'm like, why did they change her face like this? I'm not trying to, trust me, I'm not on the old grifter grums type stuff. Y'all know me. I'm like, I don't like how they made her look so old. Like she looked older than she should look. Then you got Peter, who was being emasculated, and I don't care what anyone says on that. I know he was. And I was complaining about them. Like, I don't like how they kind of made Peter feel like he was emasculated. Do you know people jumped on that tweet, which I thought was harmless, and started calling me everything but the child of God. And they said, they were like, thanks for your opinion, white guy. I'm like, what?
Oh my goodness.
Thanks for your opinion, straight white male. I'm like, huh?
Jesus.
Y'all done stole my melanin away. Ain't that some, stole my melanin because I said that. So people will get mad at you over anything, man. So you have to be mindful of that. I'm mindful of that too. Although sometimes I don't care, it was whatever. But yeah, I would just say because of I feel like he has some trust.
He has a presence, dude. He has a footprint or a thumbprint in the games community. Now, did you happen to mention what his response? Because I have it in front of me.
Yeah. You want to read it, or you want me to
Yeah,
read it?
I have it in front of me. So this
Okay.
is the response to the backlash that Shinobi 602 got from his post, and his response was, I mean, it's straightforward, folks. It doesn't say he's sorry, but I'm gonna read it verbatim. It says the picture is not meant to be from anything current. It's a random image from Google. I always search up pictures to attach to posts just for visual purposes. The Reddit posts over the weekend are in the link. I mean, look, it is what it is. It's another weekend that has passed where someone from Microsoft or Xbox had to respond to it. There was a report that because of the clarification of no, they're not leaving the spaces in Target and Walmart, their stock went up. That I have that in the show notes as well if you want to take a look at it. Is it true? Well, I mean, they had the numbers, so it is what it is. I guess FUD wind up failing. Look, I see a lot of people in the chat here, and I'm not going to call anybody out by name. If you don't like what we're peddling here, if you think that it's a lot of horse, you know what, you don't have to hang out, man. You just hate watching the show, and I got to tell you, like when I see that, why? I don't listen to anything I don't like. So if you're here to be a troll, you've probably already been got. If I haven't gotten you, then definitely Lethal Papa, the best mod in the business, gotcha. Yes, you can have an opinion, but if you're an a-hole, you're gone. We don't want you here, honestly.
I never understood that either. The whole I hate you. Let me watch you. What?
Ridiculous.
What sense does that make?
Well, anyway. Look, again, this is a story that I think has come to a close. We're not going to be covering it anymore at Double Barrel Gaming for the remainder of the week. We got it on Monday. We got it today because there was an update. Unless there is an additional update, we'll make a small story out of it. We're not going to continue to beat the drum, so to speak. We have to get to super chats. We got to get to the two other topics. But at the end of the day, it was more anti-Xbox FUD that continues to circle the gaming space. And what's interesting, and again, if you just want to look at this from the brass tacks of it all, Xbox, even though they did have the price increase and it is a bit of a wreck state, it's not even a bit, it is a monstrositous wreck state, a wreck step. I don't know what else to say about it. I think raising the price was wrong, and I'm going to continue to stand on this square. But with that said, there is no denying that by the end of the year, they will have released 12 first-party games in this service. Day and date, man. They have 4 games coming out in the next 40-something days. They have 2 pieces of OEM hardware releasing in a few days. Like, I don't understand how you can't be excited about Xbox. If you are only a PlayStation player, I can see that. But you, as a gamer, nah, man, you're not going to win this argument. You're just not going to win. Yes. Have they done some stupid things? Yes. Have they stepped on a few rakes? Absolutely. And we have given them the smoke that they deserve. But there are people like, well, why aren't you still mad at Xbox? Because I'm winning. I'm playing games. Like you
said, all they do is win, no matter what.
Right? Like what? I don't know. What do you want me to do? Continue to be a negative asshole like a lot of the people some people in this chat and most people online? I ain't about that.
Mad for what? I got games to play. I don't have time to figure out that.
I got too many games to play. I have a real world problem.
I hear you. I'm with you. And and that's the thing. I heard somebody literally say this. They said, well, I feel like Xbox hasn't done enough. I'm like, what? Huh? You didn't see this year? Like they hadn't done enough to try to like turn the tide. I'm like, all they've given you is months straight of games and shows. Yeah. You could not get what you got here and complain if you're being real.
You know, in my mind, when you said that, the gif of Denzel Washington slamming the door in that guy's face came to mind. That's what I would have did to this person. I would have just slammed the door in their face.
I verbally did that to him. Yeah, I verbally closed the door on him.
That's excellent. But listen, let me catch up on super chats. And then we're going to get to, of course, the lead story that is that not only is the thumbnail, but is the lead of what you're seeing on your screen. Did Jez Corden of Windows Central politely confirm a dev direct in January featuring not only Fable, but I think it's also going to be Forza Horizon 6. I think it's going to be dedicated to Playground Games because both those games are releasing next year. We'll get into what Jez exactly had to say. And again, it wasn't like he did a story on it. He literally was just having a conversation with somebody on Twitter. And I saw a lot of news stories run because of it. And I figured, you know what, let's have that conversation. But the first super chat of the day comes the way of LMNOPO in the chat. Generous friend of the program drops an outstanding $5 super chat. He says, Sony wants to rule the gaming space, don't they? Well, what do you think Microsoft wants to do for gaming that they haven't done already? I mean, listen, the changes at Microsoft are because they lost, folks. You've heard me say this before. In fact, I think I even said it at the beginning of the show. Their change of ideology of first party versus, okay, we're putting everything everywhere is because of an $80 billion investment into Activision Blizzard King. The reason why they're putting games and continue to put games on other platforms is because they want to make money. That doesn't hurt me. I was in my feelings, like a lot of the OG Xbox guys. We didn't like the idea of Halo, Forza, and Gears going over to PlayStation. But you know what? Things have changed, and we have to change with it, or you get left behind. They changed what they did with hardware because they weren't selling it. They needed to be different. They can't pull a PlayStation and just release a more powerful PlayStation 5 and slap a 6 on it. They can't do that. They needed to do something different. That is why they have partnered, and they will be bringing out their own hardware in 2027, but their OEM hardware is going to lead the charge for them.
I think to add to that, I mean, he, shout out to LMNOPO. He says, he's saying what do we think Microsoft wants to do for gaming that they haven't done so already? I think or what they're doing, at least with the Xbox ROG Ally or the Xbox Ally X and next gen, is something that hasn't been done from console, so far, where we're going to have access to, all the storefronts from, PC storefront
territory.
Yeah, that's new. That's new land. To me, and this, I do realize I'm coming from a PC gamer's mindset currently, but that's why I'm so excited, because now one of the biggest issues, and I keep saying this, is that Xbox had the problem of being excluded. One of the only real issue Xbox had outside of at a time where first party releases was game skipping the platform. Well, this ends that right then and there. That's the most exciting thing for me. So that's the thing I think they bring LMNOPO to gaming, the access to everything.
There's another piece of context that I'd like to add to that. That's probably going to piss off a lot of people that are PlayStation purists. The days of exclusivity of PlayStation games is done. If they release on PC, you can play it on your Xbox handheld, or next year your OEM hardware. And when Xbox puts out their, again, rumored box underneath the TV and dockable handheld, you'll be able to play Wolverine and Spider-Man 3 and all of their games on this Xbox. And that is a scary disposition for all the purists who just want PlayStation to be who they were years ago. And again, this is one of those 4 situations where if Sony decides to do it themselves, their gamers are going to be angry. If they don't do it, and Xbox can still play their games, because they told us they were going to block them, right? Oh no, Sony's going to block those games. How ridiculous do you look? I would be ashamed if I was the person banging that drum right now.
I know our Hoove brothers had their hooves crossed, hoping.
Man,
I know they did, but it's
all twisted.
It's a wrap. Pixel said, he said, go ahead and credit me for that talking point, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, I have been saying that for a while, Pixel. I think it's just a case of 2 great minds thinking alike in that case.
I like that. So no one gets credit, but 2 great minds get the credit. I love it. But Julia in the chat drops a €6 super chat says bought an Asus ROG Ally Xbox today. A store has a promotion. If you spend over 500 euro, you get the item you're buying is $100 cheaper or 100 euro cheaper. That's awesome, dude. I know that again, hasn't really been making the rounds. When you buy the ROG Ally X or S, which is what I'm calling it, you get a 3-month card for Xbox Ultimate that's stackable. So if you get it, you just pop it in your drawer, unless you can just use it right then and there. You get a 3-month card in every console, every handheld. So that's almost called it a console, but so yeah, just FYI, folks, take a look for that.
Congrats on the new Xbox Ally.
There you go. That's right. Sith Lord drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Umbra and I are waking up winners. Hawks and Bears win.
Woo!
Indeed.
The Bears. The Bears.
The Bears.
I don't know. How can I make a hawk noise? Jamie, you got us. Can you do a hawk noise? Like, how would a hawk?
I'm not even going to try.
That's great.
To be fair, Hawks is a Black Hawk, so I guess that would be a Native American. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not even going to try.
I'm not even going to
embarrass myself.
All respect to our Native American brothers, but yeah,
indeed.
The Bears is the Bears. So
the Bears. Yeah. Nino Vistic, our generous friend all the way from Hawaii, has done it again, folks. He has gifted 1 Double Barrel Gaming membership. That is very kind of you, brother. Thank you for the support. We super appreciate the generosity and the consistent generosity. Look at me, the broke boy, says this after dropping a very generous $5 super chat. It's funny watching people rip on Jez and Destin for actually doing what journalists are supposed to do, verifying information before reporting it. Yeah, I mean, I saw that they really attacked Destin. Like, he actually called, and documented what he was told, and he posted about it. And of course, they came for him. And that is because the unfortunate thing about the pony community, not the PlayStation community, but the ponies, very small, narrow-minded gamers. They want what they want when they want it, and if it doesn't say PlayStation, it's no good. Folks, if that's how you want to be, this ain't the podcast for you. I'm going to tell you that right now. This is an Xbox podcast. You're going to be bored out your mind. Eternal Should Die drops not 1, but 2 super chats. The first one of $5, he says, they said Xbox was done making hardware. Reality, Magnus just booted up. Again, you don't publicly make an announcement of a 10-year partnership with AMD, then to back out because someone like Amy Hood doesn't like that they're not selling consoles. It actually would cost them more to not have a console than to actually cancel the console. But that's I mean, people are ridiculous.
Again, it goes back to the whole point of just common sense things, right? Like,
yes.
Like the whole, again, raising the prices, that the deal they already have in place with AMD. Now, it's not to say Microsoft couldn't afford to do it.
Sure, they could, but who wants to do that? I mean, obviously, look, let me just say this for all the naysayers in the chat. Again, no names here because we don't want to embarrass anybody, right? This is the common sense that you lack, right? And I'm talking to the people in the chat that are anti-Xbox rah-rahs. This is the common sense that you are unfortunately lacking. Maybe it's because you don't understand business. But if there are 40 million subscribers to Xbox Game Pass on PC and console, and just for shits and giggles, geniuses in the chat, 10 million of those are on PC, which we know that PC continues to go up and be a big driver of revenue for Xbox on PC through Game Pass. That means 30 million people, gamers, are still on console. They're on the Series X and S and the Xbox One X and S, right? What are they supposed to do with those 30 million people if they don't make consoles? Leave people on the old hardware while everyone else is putting out new hardware? How ridiculous does that even sound? And there are some people that are like, well, yeah, that makes sense to me. If that makes sense to you, come see me. I got a bridge to sell you. Bring your checkbook because I'll sell you something. All right. Just ridiculous.
Hey, Boom. You might want to read your previous super chats.
Well, I'm getting to them. Let's see. Eternal Should Die. We got that. Elemental PO says, what are your thoughts on the next GPU for ROG Ally? I mean, I'm not a tech guy, so I mean, listen, what they're putting out, I'm buying. I've talked to a couple of people that I do trust, like Kay Asante, who knows tech, and they are screaming about how great this stuff is going to be. We'll see what's going to be in the next iteration. I mean, I don't know when that comes out. I don't know if they're going to do it next year. I think that would be too much. But I think, and again, this is just me spitballing here, the next ROG Ally Xbox team up is going to be the console. That's going to be for next year. That's just my thoughts and theories.
Is he as Elemental PO? Are you talking about the Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme? Because right now I think it's the Z2, and then next
they're working on the Z3, of course. But
yeah, so I'm guessing that's what he's talking about. Yeah, I mean, we're excited, obviously, right? If they're, I know Kay always brings this up, but if they add, the Strix Halo and all that and all these good things, which I don't know if they would, but yeah, I'm always excited for new tech when it comes to that. I mean, I don't know if I would look at Ally as being the premier, because I've seen too much now. I see the MSI claws out there.
Yes, there's a lot of them.
There's a lot,
and they're all expensive. Actually, they're more expensive than the ROG Xbox Ally.
Oh, he's saying the external. He's talking about the external GPU.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Could you elaborate a little bit more, Elemental PO, in the chat?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not really the guy to ask about the tech like that. I know that you can install an outside GPU if you want. But I'm not doing that. Like I'm playing what they get, what I'm paying for. But thank you so much for that, brother. Oh, look at me. The Broke Boy Insider drops an additional $2 super chat. And of course, he says, so Boom and Umbra both steal my stuff. Come on, man, in all caps. Sorry about that, brother.
What did we steal?
Yeah, I don't know. We started with one of his points. I didn't mean to steal it, to be honest with you. But again, I only do the super chats in the middle and the end. I don't like, breaking up the topic because, I want people to have their thoughts, straight away. But Eternal Shaddai dropped another very generous $20 super chat. And he says, headline, Anonymous Insider leaks next-gen console details. The reality, the insider is a guy named Kevin with 8 followers on X. This is how people view on fake rumors and does with it. Yeah, I mean, look, like the sneakers SO guy, that guy's gotten it way wrong. More times than he's gotten it right, but then again, so have I. So but I'm not an insider or I'm a leaker. I'm a podcaster. I take the information that I get. Sometimes it's given to me. Sometimes I'm allowed to talk about things, and I do. And if it doesn't fall through, well, I put myself out there. And if I fail, then I fail. And I come out and say, hey, you know what? That leak was wrong. I'm not going to get firing squad for it, but such is life. Eris_EMS drops a very generous $5 super chat. It says, I re-upped my Game Pass thanks to Best Buy. They still have the digital cards for $20 a month. No way am I paying $30 for Game Pass. Yeah, I actually just bought 2 more. So right now I am paid up to 28 on Xbox, but I have another year in my sock drawer just waiting. I paid $56 for 3 months on Amazon. I think it actually still is $56. So check that out over there as well. Oh wow, this is ridiculous. Scott Gamer Dude. Wow, Scott, this is outrageous, brother. He drops, ladies and gentlemen, a $100 super chat. Scott, that is incredible, brother. That is really generous of you. My God, thank you so much for that. He says, hello, Boom and panel and chat room. I don't feel the handheld is an Xbox. These are my personal reasons. No quick resume, that's fair. Not my full library is available. Not the same smooth interface using the insider build. Respect your opinion, Boom, and the chat. Await ROG video. I mean, look, it's an OEM device. I've had an opportunity to actually use it on my old ROG because Kay actually put it the experience that we're gonna get, and I've played with it. It's good. It works really fast. It's snappy. The problem is that it's not the same as what's on my console. I think that's what they're driving towards. I think you're going to get a unified UI for everything. Everything that plays an Xbox game on whatever screen you're playing eventually will look and run the same, meaning that you'll on your screen on your TV, you'll have the UI from your console. That will be identical to your tablet, to your handheld, to your phone. They're working on that. That Jason Reynolds has said that publicly, that they're working on a universal UI. How long it takes to get there, I honestly don't know. But brother, that is very kind of you and very generous of you, brother. I super appreciate that. He
If
also dropped,
if you talk about a generous
yes,
donation, that's the most generous right there for sure, Bo.
pretty. That's the most we've gotten. Like honestly, it's the biggest super chat we've gotten in 2025. So thank you, Scott. He also
Yeah.
drops an additional $2 super chat and says, "Boom, your video will help me decide." Yeah, I am going to do several videos. Actually, I'm doing an unboxing. I will, do a, me. You're not going to see me. You're going to see my hands in front of a camera with the device playing a game, or switching through the the UI. I have to learn it first, of course, but yeah, I mean, I'm going to have a couple of videos out I want to do probably over the weekend. I'm going to do a few of them.
Nice.
King Webb drops a very generous $2 super chat and says Keystone Cloud would be perfect for next gen. Yeah, that's something that they were going to do, and obviously we know that was one of those things that they killed off. I mean, they still can go back to it, because you got to remember something like a cloud-based Xbox device would be cheap. I mean, they could probably sell it with a controller for about $70 and still make a profit, because obviously it's going to be the size of a deck of cards. But I think that's why they've partnered with so many of the TV brands, so you don't actually need that Amazon stick kind of device, but of course you can play games using your Amazon stick. But gentlemen, this shows.
Would you mind if I say one thing on the Scott Gamer? Yeah. So Scott, on that too, when he says I don't feel the handheld is an Xbox, I have heard other people say that, including people on my panel on the Fix. Crusader often speaks on that, and I think Boom answered it pretty much, where they are working toward that. So if you feel that way for now, I can understand it for sure. I think technically you would be right. It doesn't have quick resume, a quick resume. Could you quickly make my resume? The English language can be something else, can it? Same word, literally. And the full library is not available. So I get you 100%. I would say maybe the whole "this is an Xbox" thing was a little bit too soon. And that's a problem of Microsoft, the futuristic kind of forward thinking they do. So they kind of put their foot in their mouths before things are settled right there. But that's exactly where they're working towards. So if you don't feel that way yet, definitely understood. But it's where they're going. And that's why I'm excited for Xbox going forward.
Yeah.
I mean,
actually,
Jamie.
I want to speak on Scott the Gamer Dude's comment that the quick resume thing, like, I yap on about quick resume all the time. I game hop constantly, maybe more than I should, because then I'll finish more games. But like the Xbox handheld stuff for me is that like 99% of my game library, they are, it's Xbox games, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X games. Like those games I can't play on we'll just call it a PC style handheld, because most of those games aren't play anywhere. So like my only other option would be via streaming. Now I do 100% believe they will do a native handheld down the line, which will play all your Xbox games. Like, look, I yap on about 360 games all the time. The second Microsoft announced a first-party handheld that can play 360 games, I'm going to buy an Xbox handheld so I can play a 20-year-old game on it. Hell yeah. With quick resume. And, I think that's just going to take time. But, using this ROG thing as a test bed for, like, to garner interest in the the handheld space, because if you go back 5 years ago, nobody was doing handhelds, nobody outside of Nintendo, and then the Steam Deck came along and people realized, oh yeah, handhelds can sell outside of Nintendo. And ever since the Steam Deck came out, there's been like 50 PC style handhelds, and they've all like been reviewed really well. People like them, and we continue to say like even more, like these ROG handhelds are basically the second versions of them. So give it time. I think at some point we will see an Xbox handheld with quick resume and your full library and stuff, but that'll take time. And plus, I've been saying this for a while. I think that the first party Xbox handheld will come a year after, like the next gen box, where they can get the price down a little bit, maybe have it price competitive with the Switch too. But if people want like all those Xbox features and stuff like in a native handheld, I think that'll come.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, the rumor is 27, right? It's going to be the box underneath the TV by Microsoft, and they're going to also have again, rumor, folks, dockable handheld that's also going to be produced by Microsoft. There are going to be other OEM devices who they've partnered with. Well, they haven't told us yet. I think it's safe to assume, you know what to say about assuming, that it could be Asus. And that, again, this is another rumor, folks, so take it with a super large grain of salt. But there has been stories rumbling within the interwebs that there could be a big announcement, or at least two of them, at the Game Awards this year. And one of them could be the OEM device that they're partnering with, I believe, to be Asus. Again, that's just my educated guess on it. I don't have that confirmed, but if they're already working on, you know, the handheld versions of an Xbox partnership, I would imagine that they would then move on to the console, which is rumored to come out next year. We will certainly see as the year plays out. But, gentlemen, chats, I want to get into, of course, the Fable conversation. Now, one of the things that Xbox has been doing for the last couple of years is having their year start off on the right foot. And what I'm talking about is their developer directs. I think they've had 3 so far. And every time that they've had it, it's been a conversation that has started out the year on a really good note. Why? Well, they're talking about what's happening this year. And of course, that it would be 2026 when they are rumored to be having their next direct. Now, where this all stems from is just a polite conversation that Jez Corden had with Shams, or at Gamerboy Shams on Twitter. Now, Shams says this to Jez: "Please, Jez, give an update about Fable. I beg you. They are being way too quiet, and it's worrisome." So Jez responds with a very simple quip. And he says, "Should get a nice update in January." And Shams responds promptly, "Thank you, Jez. Thank you." Now, I saw several news sites run with this. Well, did Jez, leak the the direct that's happening? No, I think what he did is basically confirm, at least in my opinion, that there's going to be a direct in January, which there has been for the last 3 years. This is not a surprise, folks. This is not breaking news. Fable is slated for next year. It was supposed to come out this year and was delayed. And why was it delayed? Because they wanted to give them more time to cook. So if Fable is releasing in 26, it's probably going to be in the first half. Now, where? I don't know. Could it be like Avowed and show up in the 3rd month, the 4th month, maybe? Like Avowed showed up in 2025. It's possible. What's interesting is we have heard even Xbox talking about, we have more information coming soon about Forza Horizon 6, which has been confirmed for Japan. Well, I mean, I'm no rocket scientist by any stretch of the truth, folks. I may not even be the sharpest tool in the shed, but I think if you just put 1 and 1, it's going to equal 2, and that 2 could be a double direct of both Forza Horizon 6, which should launch based on where it's launched before, October, November, which would be holiday of 26, right? Celebrating the 25th anniversary of Halo, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the platform, celebrating the 20th anniversary of Gears, right? And Upfront, which a game that was supposed to come out this year was pushed until next year. So it makes sense that they do this double direct. They show off some Fable footage, some gameplay. They give us a release date. And of course, they show off some more, maybe actual gameplay, because all we got was a teaser trailer for Forza Horizon 6 in Japan. And we know that it's been confirmed that that's the location, but maybe we get a gameplay trailer for that. And we get, again, it's a developer direct, so they'll be sitting down with the devs from Playground Games to talk about Fable, to also talk about Forza Horizon 6. I mean, again, this isn't breaking news, folks. I think it's kind of just paint by numbers. This is what you would come out with. Maybe you wouldn't, but this is what I do for a living. And I'm going to, bet the farm that you're going to see these two games at the beginning of the year. And why is that? Because they want to start off the year strong. And I don't think you could get a stronger pair of games to talk about Xbox and why you should be excited about the platform and why you might actually want to invest in the platform. Now, we don't know if either of those games are day and date on PlayStation. I don't think they will be. I think that they will release on Xbox and maybe they show up 6 months later. I don't know. But I do think that most people that are on PlayStation probably have PCs and will play these games on PC if they don't already have an Xbox. Jamie Moran, I want to get your thoughts on this. Again, simple back and forth. I don't think Jez meant for anyone to even pick it up because he was just having a polite conversation with someone that asked him a question. But I think what he said, even though it's, simplistic in its nature, I think it does say a lot. And again, this is just my opinion, folks, pretty much confirming that in January, we're going to get some Fable. What happens in January, Jamie? That would be the Xbox Developer Direct, and they've been doing that for the last couple of years. Let's get your thoughts, man.
I just checked on Twitter about 10 days ago. I said that Fable was probably going to be shown this January. Not because I know, because it kind of makes a lot of sense. If you look at the past, several directs, they've shown off a big first party game there, and there's a lot of big first party games coming out next year. But Fable's the big one, the big one. And not everyone is into racing games, so what I do think Forza Horizon 6 that's going to be massive. But like the single player people, the RPG fans, like Fable's going to be the game. And they need to show a lot of aspects of that game because, this is a huge, massive shift for Fable because Fable's never been a cinematic, cutscene driven, story driven game like that. It's always been a fun action game. And I think with this game, they need to show more off. And like, look, they showed off gameplay back in January, right? And the combat looked kind of like The Witcher 3, which to me is music to my ears. But they're gonna have to show a lot of this game, and it's this team's first RPG. Like they're clearly proud of this game. They're using the Forza engine. It's kind of mind blowing that they're using the Forza engine on this game. The amount of people that reply to me saying, "Oh, this has to be Unreal Engine 5." It's like, no, it's a racing engine. Like, just goes to show what these engines can do. But yeah, it just makes sense for it to show up in January. And the funny thing is, if you go back to this year, they announced in Shadow Drops the Ninja Gaiden 2 Black remaster or remake. So, like, who knows what else will be there? But I think Fable is obviously the big one. And, when it comes to Forza, I do think Forza will actually be held off till the summer showcase next year. They'll go like really big with that, but next year is going to be tricky because you have Grand Theft Auto as of now coming out in May. A lot of these developers they are going to want to be very specific with release dates. So like Microsoft, Sony, probably not Nintendo, but like basically everyone else, they're going to have to tiptoe around and see what the hell is happening with GTA because as we saw this year when Grand Theft Auto was originally meant to release this year. Notice how up until June, nobody announced a release date past September. Like I've had, as I always talk about this database I have of upcoming releases, the amount of games that had no release dates up until Grand Theft Auto got delayed would shock you. I mean, like hundreds of games. But like if Grand Theft Auto does hit May, Microsoft's going to have to be very careful because, like, do they get that game or can they get that game out early in the year? Is it going to be late in the year? If Grand Theft Auto gets delayed, do they push it to 2027? We don't know. But I think it's very safe to say that whatever happens, January is extremely safe bet to see Fable up and running in their January Direct. And they've had several good Directs this past couple of years. I mean, they've had several shadow drops, so we'll see what's going to happen. But I think if you're an Xbox fan and if you're a Fable fan specifically, I think January is going to be a good bet.
I mean, listen, we will certainly see. It would make sense, and this is just this is me, my thoughts and theories that if you're going to be at Playground and you're going to have a developer direct, I think it would behoove the direct itself to talk at least about Forza Horizon. We got some information, but you're there to talk about Fable. I think that again, this is just me, folks. It'd be great to know a little bit more about Forza Horizon 6, specifically in Japan. And we will certainly see. They have. I don't think there's been a developer direct, Umbra, that we've been disappointed about. I really think that there's an opportunity here to really highlight the studio in Playground Games. And again, I kind of harken back to what I said yesterday about quietly, Obsidian Entertainment has become a powerhouse for Xbox in 2025. By the end of the month, they will have put out 2 massive RPGs and a sequel that's in preview to Grounded. Like 3 games, 1 year. That is incredible. And basically have bookend everything, right? You have Fable at the beginning of the year, closing out October, we're almost at the end of the year, folks, would be The Outer Worlds 2. And of course, right in the middle, Grounded 2, which is in preview. Now, I kind of just want to move it back over to Playground. Playground is kind of doing the same thing, except they don't have 3 games. They have 2 massive IP games, one of which is a ground up reboot in Fable. And of course, based on the numbers themselves, there are millions of people that are going to want to play Forza Horizon 6. Let's get your thoughts on if they both should show up there.
Well, that would be pretty crazy if they did. I would imagine, though, that Forza Horizon 6 will be at the Summer Game Show. I don't think it'll be that early where we'll see any of that. Personally, I would be all happy to see it, but I doubt it. Fable, however, makes a lot of sense. And if it is dropping next year, what better place to start off the year by getting fans hyped for an eventual drop for that. We still have to figure out, I mean, well, not we, but Xbox and Nintendo at least, and Sony have to figure out when Grand Theft Auto is dropping. So that is a move where they're going to have to make very serious consideration on how they position their games, and Xbox more so because they have way more titles to actually put out there than Sony, right? So they're going to have to be mindful of that.
You know what's interesting? Can I add some context to what you're saying? Because I don't think people realize what's coming next year, right? So it's Halo, Forza, Gears. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 3 easy ones.
The trifecta.
You got now. Those are the pillars. I mean, it couldn't have happened at a better time. It's a 25th anniversary. One is obviously Halo's the 25th anniversary. Gears is the 20th anniversary, and Forza, it just happens to be in a year that they're celebrating all of these anniversaries. More importantly than anything, it's 25th anniversary of the brand. So your 3 pillars are going to be there. But you also have Fable, which I would consider a pillar. You also have what could be Clockwork Revolution. Like, I thought Clockwork was this year for sure. It didn't come out this year. I think it's coming out next year just based on what we saw. That's 5.
Yep.
But you also have the confirmation of Modern Warfare 4. That's 6. Now, if they stop there, what a freaking year, man. Right? But I don't think that's where it starts and finishes. I actually think there's going to be more. And if that's the case, where do you put these games, dude?
Yeah, like how do you plan it all out? I mean, they did a great job this year, right? But we didn't have the monster that is Grand Theft Auto. So, they have to figure that out. I'm sure they will know. Like, obviously, Rockstar or Take-Two, should I say, is not going to be like, oh, oops, we didn't want to tell you, our partners. Like, so they're going to know. But they just have to plan around that. But you're right. Look at all those games that Microsoft has coming. That's why people get worried. I'm like, do you see all the stuff I'm getting? Like, I'm content. As long as they deliver, and they've been delivering 80 to 90, rated games. Like, I'm good. So, but I am excited to see more from Fable. I mean, all of us are, I'm sure. What we did see blew all of our minds because I didn't expect it to look that dang great. obviously. And to Jamie's point, I was one of the people like, oh, get Unreal Engine, and then I saw them using their turn 10 what's
the Forza Tech.
Forza
Tech engine, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Could not get it in my head. The Forza Tech engine, and seeing what great that looks, I'm like, wow, it really does look good. Now we did hear some rumblings from behind the scenes, apparently, that I believe Unreal was used in some ways, mind you, because well, I can't throw him out there because I don't want to bring any issues his way, but somebody we all know who does the work with Unreal also spoke on that. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out more details in the future. But yeah, I'm excited to see more of what they can show, because we haven't had like a real, and this is going to sound crazy, so pause ahead of time. We haven't seen a real meaty dive into.
Oh, that's definitely a pause right there. How dare you?
Pre-pause right there. So I'm excited to see what they can show, more mechanics, right? Maybe they can show us the creator player thing. I don't know how in depth they're going to go with the creator, like character customization, because Killer Blue says unpause. And I don't know how far they're going to go with that. Yes, yes, Wacko Games, meaty. I don't know how far they're going to go with that when it comes to that, because the character I think we've all become accustomed to, the lady, I feel like she's going to be like the mainstay now. You know what I mean?
You know what, bro? I mean, I know that there's been some talk about it. Oh my God, I'm playing as a woman. This is outrageous, folks. Listen, if that's the protagonist, then so be it. Who cares?
Yeah,
they're telling a story. If you're in your feels, guess what? In order for the human race to survive, you got to have women. Shocker, ladies and gentlemen. What can I tell you?
I loves the women folks.
I don't know. It is. It's listen, Umbra, you're not wrong. Again, we will learn more. And you know what? I like the fact that both you and Jamie are opposite of my opinion. And you might be onto something. Maybe that's too big of a reveal for a direct.
For Forza, are you talking about, or?
Yeah, for Forza Horizon 6, because I'm in the again, this is just, maybe it's my small mind thinking about it. I'm like, well, you're going to be on that side of the pond, and you're going to be there for Fable. It would be a really cool opportunity to really highlight what's going on at that studio, and what we know is going on are two monster-sized games. Mm-hmm. And maybe they're not ready to show anything.
They may hint at it. I could possibly see that. I don't think they'll go into too deep for Forza, right? But I mean, if it is dropping next year, we know they got to be pretty and well into it already. But I don't know. I don't feel like they will. I think that's a summertime show. We'll see that. But that said, if I had to worry about anything that I would like them to actually showcase, aside from Fable and maybe Halo or whatever, if we don't see that next week. From Halo rather, is and I'm sure many will share this, including you all, State of Decay 3. That's the thing. I mean, they could say that for the summer showcase, but I would love for them to actually give us an update on that,
bro. Right? If that releases next year too, like it's funny because Jez Corden had made a mention of it. I don't have that in front of me because I didn't know we were going to talk about it. Usually I keep the notes ready to go. I'm almost positive I saw a post of his at like 2027. I don't know if that's true. Again, folks, I'm just going based on memory. I normally have the show notes ready for me to read verbatim. If it's
how long would that have been though? Boom. How many years would that have been?
It's been a minute, dude. Like it's So again, I know that they're getting some additional support. I know that they're working with the coalition to help them with their transition to Unreal Engine 5. I don't know which engine that it's going to be Unreal Engine 5. I don't know which 5.6 or 7 or 8. I don't know.
4,
So
right. Well, I guess we'll find out. Harry said the only reason gamers don't like women in games is because they don't talk to them in real life.
Oh, Jesus.
You might be right about that, Harry. Like, what's this thing? Ew, she'll give me.
Oh my God, she's so squishy. I don't like it.
Oh, she kicks high.
Oh my goodness, this is going off. Come back on the road.
Pixel said it was like 8 years. since State of Decay 2. Wow. Yeah, that'll have. Listen, I get a little fearful of that only because we saw what happened with obviously with what's the word I'm looking for here from Rare. What's the name of that game now?
Outer Wild. I'm not Outer Wild.
Outer.
Yeah,
What is it?
Yes, the one that was canceled. I don't know why. They just did a report on it. There's actually screeners of it out.
Everwild.
Yes, Everwild. That's it. There you go.
Look at this. I feel like somebody's Men in Black erased our memory or something of the game.
Brother, it's been a long show. Normally we're out the door here. We still got. Listen, I have to get to this Rebs gaming topic because it has spiraled out of control. Halo, folks, we're gonna get into it in a second, but finish your thoughts, Umbra, and then we'll move on to Halo, and then we'll get everyone out of here.
Yeah, I mean, just to say, as far as what I'm hoping to see there, absolutely Fable. If to Jez's point, he said we'll see it in January. Jamie, like you said, you had already predicted that the show would be there, and you're right, Boom. The shows, the developer directs have been really good from them. They
really good, dude. This year was a monster. Think about this for a second. This year, not only Shadow dropped, like Jamie said, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Boom, there it is, remade for you. We got the confirmation of 4. Like, what?
Right.
Are you kidding me? Who saw that coming? That certainly wasn't on my bingo card.
Not mine either. Yeah. So that said, I'm looking forward to that. I think, there has been rumors too and rumblings about a Fallout remake. So you could never know.
Yes.
You could see that too.
Just again, some more context. Obsidian is working on a secret project, and again, folks, just follow the breadcrumbs. You don't got to believe me; that's fine. But the producer of the Fallout New Vegas came back this year to Obsidian, and when asked and pressed, he was like, "Listen, I'm not working on New Vegas 2. But that doesn't mean they ain't working on something New Vegas, right? I'm just throwing or something Fallout related. I'm just saying they don't bring him back if he's not going to work on something. I think that's their secret project. But again,
they were just being slick about it. We're not working on New Vegas 2. We're working on New Vegaser.
Yeah, yes. New Vegas, the right side of things.
Right. New Vegas. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I just want to see more of Fable. I want to see more of the world. I want to see the humor that we've become accustomed to. Do we get a chance to karate kick a few chickens? You know what I mean?
I think that has to be
right.
Absolutely, you got to be able to at least kick one chicken. I mean, it's probably going to be a thing, but it would be a shame if it wasn't.
And the main character, if I'm not mistaken, she is voiced, right? She's not. It's not just like a silent protagonist.
Yeah, she is. She's not a silent protagonist. No, she is voiced. So
and that's a difference because they didn't have that in the past game. So that'll be nice too. I look forward to all that, man. I'm looking forward to seeing just more of the world and to show us the fighting mechanics and things like that. That's what I'm looking forward to, and I fully expect it to release, if not next year. I did mention at one point that it could be a next gen full launch release. I did say that before, and if it is, I wouldn't really complain. I'll be content, as long as they get it right. And like you said earlier, Fable should be a tentpole game. Like it
is, in my opinion. I mean, they had a trilogy on Xbox.
They let it fall to the side like that. Yeah. But I'm glad that a great studio and Playground has been picked up the ball, so to speak, and have run with it. So I'm looking forward to it. She is gorgeous in real life. I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah, she is stunning. The actress. So. Listen,
leave the damn chickens alone. I'm kicking the hell out those shit. I'm going to be the chicken kicker. That's what wasn't that the name they gave you? Chicken kicker.
You could have chicken kicker. Yeah, that was one of the names.
I'm going to be kicking it for. I'm pragmatic. I'm going to be I'm going to cook those chickens.
Yeah. Hopefully you're only kicking the chickens. Pause. Jesus Christmas.
I'm going to stereotypically fry that chicken up. It's pragmatic.
Oh my goodness. I am not going down that path, kind sir. That is
whatever equivalent they have back in the day. I don't know what they got in Fable land. Whatever equivalent of Louisiana hot sauce I'm going to use on that chicken.
It's funny. Someone had put out a post on I've never had a tweet explode like this. I think it has 5,000 likes. And I just responded. It was I think she was from Japan. She had a picture of what looked like to be the handlebars that the neck that holds the handlebars. And she said, "Is this a chicken or a turkey?" And when I saw it, I was like, "Wow, that kind of looks like Master Oogway from."
Oh yeah, I saw that tweet. Yeah, I saw
That
yours.
tweet
Yeah.
has freaking. I've never had a tweet that get 5,000 views. I mean, likes. That's just insane. And non video game related, even, which is bugged out.
Sometimes it's
But
like that. Yeah. I made a tweet to I forgot, it was something stupid. It was like, what was it about? It was something off brand too, and it was like, oh, thousands of likes. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, went viral.
Crazy.
But yeah, I saw that tweet actually. That thing did look like Master Oogway.
That's all I saw. Like, honestly, that's all I saw.
did.
But all right, so listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have one last topic to get into, and I got to give a shout out to Rebs Gaming. My God, that guy is Mr. Halo. And I take nothing away from Min Splits because he's another one that is so ridiculous with the sniper.
I don't
he
know how
probably
he does
sleeps
it.
with one.
I don't know how he does it, man.
Dude, it's no human way. Like, he's got to be a robot because his sniping skills are so good that it's terrifying. But Rebs Gaming got a big boost from Jez Corden of Windows Central, who we've been talking about recently. And obviously the story broke from Rebs Gaming talking about some managerial issues or leadership problems at Halo Studios. This is obviously now the new studio that was formerly 343 Industries. This is not new. I don't understand how and why they can continue to have problems with management. We've seen just recently people from the art team that have been with the studio for over 17 years leaving. There's been other reports of longtime members that have over 12, 14, 15 years leaving the studio. So of course it's bad news, and a lot of people have concerns, and I'm one of them. Obviously, Rebs Gaming reported this, and of course, there are. Listen, I'll say this, and I heard I was listening right before we went live to Joey, who was part of Dirt's crew on WBG, and Joey was actually said something that I think is spot on. He says Halo fans are the worst. And I actually think I agree 1,000% with him. Die-hard Halo fans are the same fans that do not want a super soldier to sprint. I'm sorry, folks. That's ridiculous. He's got to run. And you got to be able to push the button and have modern controls, which has been confirmed. We're going to get into that in a second. So Rebs Gaming actually put out a post where he got some backup from Jez Corden of Windows Central. And he says, after speaking to a few sources, Jez Corden corroborated my report about Halo Studios' leadership issues. Jez likes to have more evidence/sources before writing official reports, which is why he hadn't written one about this yet, but says that what I reported echoes what he has heard. So I would imagine that we're going to get an article from Jez Corden at some point addressing this. And I would imagine, and this is just me, following the breadcrumbs as we get closer to the big reveals. And I say reveals with an S, folks, because there's going to be two of them at the Halo Championships on the 24th. I would imagine that right before Jez Corden will maybe drop an article addressing the claims of Rebs Gaming. But they are not the only ones to be doing the talking. Now, there is a Twitter account called Halo Leaks, or at leaks_infinite. They have nearly 42,000 people following them. I've been following them for years. Well, they put out a post that was very interesting. And it goes on to say, and this has already been confirmed by Rebs Gaming himself. I can definitely confirm that the Halo Championships remake, and obviously he's confirming that it exists, but he also confirms it will have sprint and modern gameplay mechanics. For the love of the gaming gods, thank goodness.
Thank God.
And he goes on to say this. This is where it gets really, really interesting. I'm of the belief, so it's his opinion, folks. Its gameplay will be, well, let me read it verbatim. I'm of the belief its gameplay will be similar to the new Halo multiplayer game, which I also believe will be Halo 7's multiplayer. Now, again, I had speculated on this a couple of weeks ago where I believed you were going to get at least some multiplayer. I don't know what that multiplayer was going to be. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with Halo Infinite. I think they're going to, at some point, sunset that. I think that what you're going to see is the new Halo multiplayer that is going to be released day one on Xbox, on Steam, on the Microsoft Store, and on PlayStation 5. They're going to want the most people playing this. It's going to be the new Halo. And I think, in my opinion, Halo still has a place. Its multiplayer still has a place among some of the bigs. And I think that if they do it right, and I believe that they are doing it right, it is going to come out and it is going to smash. Now, the other side of the coin is, of course, the Halo Championship remake, which has been confirmed by multiple sources to be the other game that's going to be unveiled. Rebs Gaming talked about it. Halo Leaks has talked about it. I have talked about it, but I haven't spoken to anyone like them because they're obviously insiders for Halo. So I'm just reading their reports. Jamie Moran, I want to bring you in because this is exciting. I know that on the cuff, oh no, there's trouble at the studio. There's always trouble at that studio, and I don't make it right. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't get it, man. Now, here is my take on it. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, if the people left because of the current leadership that was recently put in place to fix what was broken, right? I don't know. Heard some things. I'm not willing and comfortable to talk about it, right? What I'm going to ask, though, is the people that were there for all these years, people that moved from Bungie, 343, to Halo Studios, they've been there 17, 18, 19, 20 years. Some of them have left. Without pointing fingers, I'm simply asking a question. Are they leaving because they're being asked to leave because they're a part of the problem? Or are they leaving because they don't like what the new leadership is doing or where they're taking the franchise? And my pushback to the first half of my question was, well, they've been there for 17 years and they've had all of these problems. Well, maybe they are the problem. Again, it's just a suggestion. I'm not making a pointing finger statement. I'm saying, whose fault is it for management issues? I don't know. I know that there's been leadership problems with some of the current staffers and staffers that have left. Are these still a part of the problem, and that is why they're leaving? I don't know. Well, let's get your thoughts on some of the reports.
343's had this like long string, or Halo Studios now. They've had this long string of issues for years, and it has to be the staff. It has to be,
Yeah,
because like we've like when 343 was first founded and they start making Halo 4. From what I can tell, there wasn't really any problems behind the scenes. In fact, it was a huge success. I think it sold over 12 million copies. And, you know, the fan base was divided because, you know, scary Sprint. How dare they? My God, do you know Sprint's been in Halo longer than it hasn't, and people still complain that Sprint exists in Halo?
Hello, thank you.
Crazy. But, like, you know, people didn't really have a problem with Halo 4 behind the scenes. Halo 5, we all saw the marketing up until the launch. You know, the podcasts, the I can't remember what it was called, but there was like a fake.
I listened to every episode, brother.
Yeah,
it was like it was awesome, dude.
Yeah. And for people that don't know, there's this awesome, like amazing as a sci-fi nerd, shocker to no one, as a sci-fi nerd, I absolutely adored this because you had like Mark Hamill, you had all these different voice actors, this interesting lore that was going to like what was going to happen in the Halo universe. And it's almost as if the marketing team and the game development team weren't even talking to each other because they weren't connected really. Nothing was really connected. And, you know, the game came out. I liked Halo 5. You know, I thought its multiplayer was fun. I love Warzone Firefight. The campaign, it was fun, but it had its issues. My God, when you realize that all enemies past 50 feet run at 30 frames per second, that's all you can see. Now I've just destroyed that game for a bunch of people. But like that game's like that franchise has had issues behind the scenes for years. Hell, even when they were Bungie, they were having issues. Bungie's had non-stop issues. Like if we're constantly hearing issues behind the scenes, it has to be the staff. Now, did he gut the entire studio? I honestly don't know. But the fact that we constantly keep hearing that there's problems, it's a bit worrying. I honestly don't know what to say. Now, when it comes to like what's going to be in the new Halo, like the remake, it having sprint and grabbing ledges and stuff. Like look, there's going to be the purists. I'm doing air quotes that hate this, but why is it okay? Why is it okay for? Sorry, why is it not okay for Master Chief not to be able to sprint when he can sprint in cutscenes? Why could he climb into a scorpion tank but can't climb a ledge? Nobody can answer these questions. Watch the Halo 2 cutscenes. In Halo cutscenes, Master Chief runs in those cutscenes. And apparently, we were originally meant to be able to sprint in the original Halo, but they didn't put it in because of the game engine. Couldn't load in the world fast enough. Like, why do people have this massive pushback? Because they want this like massive nostalgia trip of like where Halo 3 took over the world. Like maybe that's why people think they think that making a multiplayer game where you play as a super soldier, where you basically move as slow as RoboCop, that's gonna like take the world by storm all of a sudden. Maybe I'm a bit jaded, but I think that wouldn't do that well. And I love Halo. I've bought every Halo at launch. Like, I like the idea of having new like modern mechanics in a Halo remake. As we've heard, there's meant to be multiple Halo titles in the works. I still want to see what happens after Halo Infinite.
Makes two of us, dude.
Same. Makes all three of us.
Yeah,
like that. The Halo Infinite story, bit of a tangent. I loved that story.
it's
I thought
phenomenal.
it was fun. Like,
really well done, dude.
like, and when a franchise goes open world, I typically don't like it. However, I think Halo handled it well. It wasn't really forced. There was always something to do. You're always being pushed to the next area, and there was always something to do, like the vault type places and stuff. Like Halo Infinite is a gem. I don't care what anyone says. I love that game. And I want to see what happens with that. Now, I do think we will at some point, but so clearly things need to change at 343. It feels like every single time I open up social media, there's a new head of 343. or something. Like there's a new creative director, or there's like just new anything. Look, if they were to come out tomorrow and say, look, he's Halo Infinite 2, right? You'd see me doing the marketing thing on Twitter. I'd be like, look, check this out. It's going to be the best thing ever, right? Because I want a sequel to Halo Infinite. Now, with the Halo remake, don't get me wrong. I love Halo. Halo, like when you first step out of that Halo ring on the original Xbox and you look up in the sky and you realize where you're standing, it was mind blowing back in the day. There's no
it
other
really
game
was.
like that back in the day on the OG Xbox was kind of like when you first played GoldenEye or when you like played a 3D open world game for the first time. Like that
Mario
was
64. Like
yeah, it was a special moment, and
yes.
like I would love to be able to play that again and like have that same experience because look, even though that first game, its pacing has its issues. You have the library, which is a nightmare in itself. The game's special, right? So, like, if they're going in and making it the best version of that game possible, hell yeah, I'm going to be there day one. But they clearly need to fix things behind the scenes, And again, if anyone from Halo Studios is listening, please, for the love of God, Halo Infinite 2.
Yeah,
I need that yesterday.
Listen.
And look, I'm a single player guy, right? I don't really do multiplayer for Halo or in general. So, like, when Halo Infinite came out and I played it, loved it, finished it, I thought I was going to get single player expansions, and it never happened.
You were supposed to. That's
and
heartbreaker.
I think there's this big issue in the game industry at the minute, or at least for a while, where we we hear about this new game. It comes out, and during its whole marketing cycle, we're told that it's going to get years of content, right?
Mhm.
Years and years of content, and it never happens. I think the only game that actually followed through with that was maybe Destiny in the Division, but like Anthem. Anthem never got any content right. I
Yeah.
was so disappointed by that game. Avengers. We were told years of content, years of expansions. We had one expansion and it had no achievements, right? Tons of games. But like Halo Infinite, they launched a really good game and we got no single player expansions. So like I've had no Halo content for years, like in the Halo universe, and but I think Microsoft are beginning to actually realize this, that the Halo universe is big enough that they should be coming out with spin-offs. They should be coming out with a Halo ODST 2. Have another game that's kind of like Halo Reach, where you play as younger Spartans, right? That universe is ripe for the picking, and they just have to do it, right? I don't care how many different animators or different like creative directors they have to go through. They need to get their crap together and put out some Halo games, because Halo Infinite, despite what people say, is a brilliant game. We just need more of that. But hopefully behind the scenes they can fix stuff. And by the way, I still want that Mega Bloks Halo game.
Someone actually said that Lego Halo. Yes. Yeah,
I don't care what Lego games are fun. I want that Mega Bloks Halo game, because I would have bought a collector's. Oh, can you imagine a collector's edition for that game?
Oh,
Would have been amazing.
God, yes.
Right. And if anyone from 343 listens to this, or Halo Studios, like that's another thing they could do. Different genres. They could do their version of like an Astro Bot style game, but with Halo and Microsoft stuff. Like Halo is a big enough universe. They could do anything. You could do a Mass Effect style RPG. You could do first person shooters. You could do a horror game about the flood, right?
Anything. I pitched that idea years ago, and people ran with it, and I obviously I'm never going to get credit for it. But I said, imagine alien isolation on Zeta Halo with a scientist, not a Marine, not a Spartan, a scientist that picks up a handgun and has got to make it to the end to get evac'd out of the station. And this is of course, Zeta Halo I'm talking about is where the Flood were created. And that would be, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. I'm a big nerd for this kind of stuff. I think that my idea, and I again, shame on me for not actually trying to, pitch this, because I'm never going to get credit for it. But I pitched that years ago, and it could be a horror or survival horror type of game with Halo, with the Flood on Zeta Halo, trying to escape, bro. Like there is this series, this franchise is so untapped. And it's crazy that next year we're celebrating the 20th anniversary. I'm with you, brother. They got to get their stuff together, and they got to get it done now. I mean, any additional thoughts there, Jamie?
I mean, I want a Halo Wars 3.
Yes, a lot of people. Actually, Raquel just said that in the chat. Said he wants more of the RTS, though.
And one of the dreams for me for Halo is actually a Mass Effect 3 style RPG where you play as Buck.
Oh, dude, I love that idea. That's what I'm talking about.
But like, hopefully, like, look, I think Halo Studios, they just need to get their crap together, sort out what the problem is behind the scenes, because we keep hearing about this time and time again. And I could go off saying they need to fire this person, they need to fire that person. They just need to get it sorted. They need to have a direction. That's all they need, because they've proven that they can make good games, and Halo deserves more good games.
Yeah, shout out to Sotnist in the chat, says Halo Survivors. Yeah, there is a Survivors that was a fan project that was sanctioned by Halo Studios and Microsoft. I don't know if it's available on the console yet. I know that it was iOS, I think.
It comes out next year on Xbox.
There you go. So then I'll definitely be getting down with that. But Infinite Number, let's get your thoughts on this, because I'm looking at my stats, and I have nearly 23 days in Halo Infinite. Of course, that is multiplayer mostly, and of course the single player, which I went back to mop up the achievements. Those logs, I think I'm missing 3 for the achievement. Drove me crazy. I mean, I just flew around in a Pelican trying to find them. I never found them. we got gypped, man. We got gypped on the DLC that was gonna have Atriox, right? There was a rumor that you're gonna be able to play him,
Man,
right? There was the what happened to Buck and Team Osiris?
I
What
don't like
happened
that.
to
Yeah,
I mean, like what
and I'm
happened?
still mad about the Atriox situation because he manhandled Chief, as we
Yeah,
all
he
saw.
Yeah.
slapped him around. He
Yeah,
did,
This
and
was
I wanted my revenge on that, and
I
you
want
never
revenge.
got it.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine fighting old boy, bow your head. I mean, that was cool, but that wasn't Atriox, though. That's a different brute. I need the big chief who manhandled Chief. By the way, we have some blasphemy in the chat from both Pragmatic Eagle and
I know.
Big
I saw
Man
it.
Mo.
Pragmatic. How dare you, kind sir? How dare you?
Listen, they both want to get rid of Chief, and they say Chief is the problem. He's toxic. And
I'm surprised we didn't get a comment from Big Bad Mo. He thinks that he should either be.
He was the second blasphemer.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, he started it up talking about Chief needs to go. I'm like, what? Yeah, they both blaspheming in the chat there. I don't know. Hey, I've heard other people say this. Black Viking, by the way, often says it.
Oh, he's
Master
another one.
Chief
He wants Chief dead though.
Oh
This
yeah,
Mo just wants him Chief to retire.
See,
Black Viking wants him. I mean, like DOA.
This is just blasphemy here. But as far as the I'm sorry, Boom. What's the exact setup for the question here? Because
the question is basically we've seen a lot of conversation regarding the leadership. The leadership, and again, folks, we're gonna know everything next week. The 24th is when they're showing off multiple projects. And I say projects with an S because you're gonna get at least 2. Are they going to do more than that? I don't think so. You're going to get the single player, which is coming out next year, which is, of course, the 25th anniversary. You're also going to get what could be a glimpse into the new multiplayer. I don't know if it's going to be Halo 7 or Halo 6 multiplayer, but I know that it's going to be a probably free-to-play multiplayer that's going to launch on everything. I don't know if it does switch day and date, but it's going to be one of those multiplayers that is going to want to get people back into Halo, and how you do that is release it everywhere. So my question to you is, I mean, what are your thoughts on the reports of leadership? Like, do you have concern for the Halo franchise moving forward, and can they get it right, dude?
I hope so, Boom. It is unfortunate.
It's heartening, bro.
Yeah, because it felt like things were starting to get righted. We got Pierre, the head of the table now. And then you start seeing more stuff pops up. And so the Glenn Israel, I said it right, Glenn Israel, who was a veteran art director on with the team, better yet, and he contributed to Halo projects since 2008. So he's a longtime vet for 343 now Halo Studios. And he was also with Bungie as well. So he just suddenly left after 17 years. And he gave a little cryptic warning. He was saying, never forget you're free to choose. Take evidence when necessary. Our industry seems dire. And he won't share the full story until it's safe for him to do so. But yeah, and so I feel like that leads to concern of maybe workplace crunch, as they always talk about crunch. And I hope it's not anything to do with ethics or anything like that. But yeah, and Rebs, as you mentioned, he has covered a bit of it, and he can't say too much either because of his source. So he has to wait until it's more, I guess, opportunistic to speak on it without getting his source caught up or something like that. So I don't know. I hope that, to some in the chat, I did see your thoughts. I'm hoping it's more of the thought of, hey, we feel like we're being overworked, right? A crunch situation versus I guess a toxic workplace environment situation. We don't need that, right? I'm hoping it's more something like that, and maybe it's just disagreements. Maybe I want to do this. Okay, you did all this work, that's scrapped. We're going to go this direction now. Like I'm hoping it's more creative in ideology versus creative ideology, should I say, versus like some toxic workplace environment or them clashing with leadership or something like that, because that's the last thing 343 or now Halo Studios needs, right? You got Bunny Ross who left and retired.
Yes,
uh,
she left for family reasons. At least that was what was put
that's
out
what
there
she
in the
claimed,
presser.
right?
Somebody in her family wasn't well, so of
Right. I
course,
think her father, I believe.
yeah.
Um, and I'm sure that did have something to do with it, but we know that was probably a cover story, right? But I had been saying, like, me and other people, like, hey, she needed to go, unfortunately, because it was too many issues. I just hate to see that, or hear rather, that there are issues here with the studio, with a IP that I love. You know what I mean? And Halo is my favorite IP in gaming, so I would hate for that to be the case. Rebs is fairly reputable. I know he's not saying this just to say it.
No, he's
And
not chasing. And listen, if I may just jump in for a second, I got to defend Rebs because I've seen some people come at this man. Folks, there is nobody that I know outside of myself, maybe Umbra, that loves Halo more than Rebs Gaming. This is where I got to step up for him, and I will take the arrows. He's not chasing clouts. He's not chasing you. Yes, he has a YouTube channel, but he's a Halo guy. That's what he does, and he obviously has the confidence of the studio where people did contact him. This is not he heard from Johnny Cat around the corner. He literally talked to people, both former and current. Of course, he can't name them for obvious reasons, but he's not chasing clout just for you to sub his channel. He literally is a legit 100% Halo guy. Please continue, sir.
sorry, I was typing. Yeah, and and that I agree with. I've spoke with him, here and there behind the scenes as well. Just a good guy, and he's not here to try to post any FUD or anything like that. He loves the franchise as well. So he's just posting information that he gets from the source, and it's turned out to be legit most times ever he's posted it, right? Things shift. So some things, going to be out of place, and the other I don't want to say leakers, but other people who have had information, they would post something or say something, and hey, things change. So people, oh, you see, you're wrong about this. No, things just change. So some things is like that are going to happen. But Rebs has been fairly reputable, and I know he's not just saying this to say it. And it did look weird with Glenn Israel saying that and coming out doing that. Everyone was like, "Oh, okay, what's that about?" It's a veteran who's been there 17 years suddenly leaving like that, and then leaving a message like that, and possibly
very cryptic.
It's cryptic and holding more back because of maybe an NDA, something like that, or could probably be sued depending on what he says. So that is concerning. I hope that it stops there and it's not something more dramatic, I would say. But I am looking forward to next week and everything like that. I'm with you all with the sprint, by the way. It's ridiculous to have a freaking Spartan that cannot run. It is just unnecessary. I've always found it dumb. Halo fans, oh, we don't need sprint. It's like, for what? Why would I want to walk around all day, like gently jogging through? And anyway, but yeah, so I do hope that this is just maybe a small thing and it's not something super big that's going to harm the new direction they're going and things like that. By the way, I think Theneros had mentioned in the chat a Halo, like for a spin-off game, a Halo Metroidvania. I would love
dude,
that.
You freaking kidding? Daneros, that is a phenomenal idea. Wow.
Yes, indeed. I love Metroidvanias. A Halo Metroidvania, sign me up. Yes, sir. I just
think that there is, look, obviously we went a little bit longer than normal today. And in closing, I gotta say, I don't know what's going on to studio folks. I literally have no idea. I'm only brought up this conversation. I've actually been trying to get to this conversation for days. I probably since the beginning of last week, and there's been story after story, and it just piles and piles. Finally, we were able to get to it. I just hope that at the end of the day, whatever we see for the future of Halo next week is impressive. We've heard some things about what they're doing. The team that brought us Oblivion this year is helping 343 Halo Studios with the port. So there's a good chance that this thing is going to look stunning. Like it's supposedly going to have the engine of Halo Combat Evolved with a overcoat of stunningness. I guess that's if that's even a word for Unreal Engine 5 something, 5.6,
Unreal
7 or 8.
Engine goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So it's gonna. Again. Do you remember what we saw when we first put on Oblivion? We were all mind effed. We're like, "My God, this looks incredible!" Right? I
Yeah.
think we're gonna get that with Halo Combat Evolved, and I think it is going to be special. It is going to be right. It's going to be done right because it's the 20th anniversary. I'm excited for multiplayer. As much as I enjoyed Halo Infinite, I haven't been back in a minute, and it's not because it's bad. It's great. But I want new Halo. I want them to move on, take Infinite for what it was. It's been out since 2021. We've enjoyed it. We've played it. Let's see what they're going to do, bringing more platforms into the mix so it becomes a juggernaut. That's what I really want for Halo. Can it happen? I hope so. I hope that there is a place for Halo, not only in single player, or remakes. I think that everyone's ideas for a horror based one, ODST 2. I want to play Chief or a Spartan in third person. A Mass Effect type of game, a Metrovania. I think all these ideas are amazing. And what's sad is why is it taking this long that we don't have these things? And that's because there's leadership problems. And I'm going to say, somebody actually said it in the chat. I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. Aris _ EMS, and I agree here, man. Listen, I love Phil Spencer. I love Sarah Bond. I don't really know Matt Booty. I've never met him. Aaron Greenberg is a gem. I've met all the bigs, and I consider them to be, friends. I don't really, we're not having drinks or anything together, but we could have. I could have had a drink with Sarah Bond or Phil, and it'd been fine. But the thing is this. This is what Aris _ EMS says, and I think that he's onto something here. And I don't know why it's taken this long to get here. He says Microsoft needed to take more reins of their studios. They left them too autonomous, and that's why you get some of these studios with mismanagement and delays and such. I mean, that's spot on, perfect. I couldn't have said it any better myself, Aris. That's the problem. This is a studio that has had problems for years. I don't care if you got to wipe the slate clean, but you got to do something. And we cannot hear about management problems. And then, of course, now we're all panicking. Oh shit, my Halo's going to suck now. Listen, we don't want it. We don't want that in our lives. If Microsoft is listening, and I know that people from Xbox do listen, get a hold of that studio. And if you got to wipe that slate clean, then you go ahead and do it. But we got to get Halo games out, and you got to get more than one per every 10 years. I'm sorry. That's just unacceptable.
They need to reclaim the throne, man.
They absolutely do.
Yeah. It was wrong with them not being the king of the hill. Yeah, anymore. You know what I mean? I don't know. Shout out to Pragmatic, who's still going, by the way. I think he just gave a super chat.
He did. I'm going to get to the other super chats. Hey, listen, I love Pragmatic. That guy's been supporting the channel for years. I mean, again, he's not a Halo guy. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if it's not your bag, it's just not your bag.
Oh, he loves Halo. He just wants Master Chief going.
So he's a Halo fan. He just wants Chief dead. Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I hear you. What can I say? But listen, ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm glad that everyone hung around. We had over 500 people watching the show today. If you enjoyed today's podcast and conversations, please hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed, we're now on the hunt for 16.3, and we're almost there. And obviously, after that, we're going to, slowly churn to 17K, and you can help us get there by simply just, subscribing to the channel. Let me catch up on these last super chats. We have 2 gifted subs from Scott Gamer Dude, who already dropped a $100 super chat. Brother, that is incredibly kind of you, and we truly appreciate the generosity. We have Pixel Bit G dropping a very generous $5 super chat. He says, Doom is way older than Halo, and yet we have to debate modernizing Halo where we don't for Doom. The debate is goofy. I mean, again, he's a super soldier. He's a Spartan. He can run. I don't get it. I've never gotten it. It's always bothered me. And listen, I'm not going to throw, fling poo or call anybody names. If you are a no sprint gamer, fine. But I'm sorry. It's 2025. If he can lift tanks, he can sprint. I'm just saying. But here we go. Pragmatic Eagle drops a very generous $10 super chat. And he says, for those in the back, Reach is the best in the series. No MC. ODST is number 2. No Master Chief. A Spartan creator will save Halo. Master Chief will continue to hobble the ship. Oh my God. Agree or disagree? The data is on my side. I mean,
I don't know about that. By the
Halo
way,
3 for me,
see,
goated.
that's
Like,
what I thought.
honestly,
Halo 3
it's
for me.
still on a Tuesday, it's my favorite. On a
think-
Wednesday, I kind of move over to Infinite's multiplayer, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I appreciate the generosity, brother. I cannot argue with you. ODST and Reach are in my top 5. They really, really are. I mean, there's not
all
a lot of
games, right? All great
games,
but I feel like, with you on Infinite, I think Infinite has the best gunplay we felt in the
it
whole
really
series.
is the best gunplay. Plus, that grappling hook is a
That grapple
game
shot is
freaking
magical.
changer, man.
I feel like if they had the maps of 2 in Infinite, it would be unquestionable that Halo Infinite would be considered the best in the series, right? Because Halo 2's map, Halo 3's map, those are maps people always go back to. I wish we had this. Where's Midship? Like, people love those maps.
Midship is
so
dope.
and Halo Infinite has good maps themselves,
Yeah.
right? But I feel like those are always one Halo fans go back to, and that's part of the whole thing. Like, the whole thing is our traditionalists who don't want Halo to evolve, really. Which is crazy because it's Combat Evolve, but like, they don't want it to evolve into, I guess, adding new things, Sprint being one of them. I just feel like I can only imagine having to slowly trot through Halo Infinite's campaign, and as big as that open world was, essentially,
it's a lot. It's too much.
Been terrible.
Yeah, I agree. But listen, gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out. Chat, thank you so much for hanging out. This is one of the longest shows we've done in a long time. Like I said, lot of meaty topics to get into. And listen, let's get everyone out of here. Big thank you to all the super chats. I mean, a really big thank you to all the gifted subs as well. Mrs. Boom and I do greatly appreciate the incredible generosity that comes our way. And that's why we are doing another $300 giveaway for Mrs. Boom's birthday bash. I think it's her 4th annual. We just started a couple of years ago doing her birthday bash because why not? And obviously her birthday, November 1st, she is All Saints Day baby. And she'll be celebrating her day, which is on a Saturday, but we will be doing the giveaway the week after. We don't do it before for, it's just bad luck. We never celebrate anyone's birthday before, because obviously that would be not good. So we're going to do it the Friday after on that Breakfast with Boom, and we're giving away $300 worth of Xbox gift cards like we did for my birthday bash. And again, folks, what you got to do to win is be in the chat. But let's get everyone out of here. Jamie Moran, you have a show later this afternoon, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you and Logan Meyer will be breaking down potentially upwards of 17 topics, maybe, because that's what you guys roll with. And we're looking forward to it because it is a fun show. It is an Xbox show for Xbox fans. Sell the brand, brother. Where can people check out the All Things Xbox podcast, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today? And of course, where could people follow you on social media?
Yeah, thanks, Boom. It's always a pleasure. And by the way, before I get into plugging my channel, imagine being Master Chief and you're asked to save the universe, but you have to do it at a brisk walking speed. Just on my mind.
I love it.
Chief, are you going to go?
I'll
get there still in Cortana.
It'll get there eventually. But yeah, my YouTube channel is The Elusive Gamer. I exclusively cover Xbox, a bunch of Mass Effect whenever I get the chance. All Things Xbox podcast is on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. We tend to be a 2-hour show. And yeah, we do cover upwards of 17 topics. I think last week we hit 21.
Wow.
In 2 hours. Just like to cover everything. But yeah, it's always a fun time over there. Never any fanboy stuff. It's always fun. But yeah, that's 6 p.m. Eastern on the Elusive Gamer YouTube channel. And my Twitter is Jamie Moran UK, where it's exclusively gaming and jokes.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And of course, not to be outdone, we have Big Mad Mo saying hashtag Chief is holding back Halo. And we also have here Day Reezy in the chat. Day, great to see you here. He says, That's master cheeks to you, kind sir. And Bill, there's that. Listen, let's sell the brand
should we ban Pragmatic and Big Mad Mo? I don't know. It feels like they should be banned.
I think freedom of speech would come into question. So they're okay. They don't like Chief. They want him out the door. Listen, we can always agree to disagree that Chief needs to be here. It's fine. But listen, let's have the brand of the fix. On Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you and Daniel McGee have a great conversation, not only about gaming, of course. You talk about everything in the business of, gaming and art and comics. And there's a lot going on with the MCU. There's some big rumors coming out of what the new X-Men is going to be like, who's going to be in, and what's going to happen during Doomsday, which is slated for next year. I do think that Marvel's back in a big way, and I do think Secret Wars and Spider-Man Brand New Day are going to really, really kick it into overdrive. So the brand, brother, where can people tune in every Thursday, and more importantly, follow you guys on social media?
Yes, sir. Good show today, fellas. I am going to hit the bed like a ton of bricks after this.
I bet you are. Apologies for the long show.
Oh no,
man.
it was worth it. It was worthwhile. Pragmatic says we can't take Mr. Unreal Engine 5 at face value on this matter. Listen, Unreal is going to be directing the next Halo's. Pragmatic, you might want to get on board while you can, sir. But obviously shout out to you, Boom and Jamie, and to the chat, except for Big Man Mo and Pragmatic Eagle. You all can find me on social media, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way. I put the link in the chat already. If you all have not done so, please subscribe to the brother's channel, The Fix. As shout out to my brother Soil Tex. That is a great show. Thank you, brother. We go live Thursdays at 8 o'clock Eastern. Typically, we will be coming back this week. We didn't have a show last week, but we will be coming back this week. Still have a few things to set up, and yeah, Boom, like you said, so many different things coming up, even just in comics and stuff, right? In movies, we got the new. Did you all see the new DC Comics KO event? Where it has,
I did see that. I also saw the Deceased one that they're doing, which is kind of like Marvel Zombies, but it's with
some
DC.
Interesting stuff.
Freaking dope, dude. Yeah.
Like the KO one has, like, for instance, Batman going against the future versions of like Dick Grayson as Batman, his Batman costume, which looks dope, by the way. Red Hood in the Batman costume, like all of them are Batmanified, if you will. Damian is grown and he's in the bat suit, and even Tim Drake, and it just looks dope. The art is just spectacular. I'm really interested, and Batman is basically facing all of them in some type of KO gauntlet, right? Superman as well in his tie-in, he's doing it. He's fighting other enemies too. I think other Superman or something. I'm not sure how it goes for him, but yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up. In general, we'll definitely be covering a lot of things when it comes to that on The Fix. So you all, if you all are free, come by and check us out, and if not, check us on replay. I'll put the video on demand, if you will, with the timestamps and things like that at a later time. So come by and check us out, and show some love. And thank you all again for coming by and supporting us.
Super appreciate it, brother. And of course, thank you, chat, for hanging out with us for as long as again, 2 hours and 18 minutes. A bit long, one of the longest show of the year for sure. But hopefully you enjoyed it enough to hit the like button on your way out the door. And of course, I'm going to close out the show, ladies and gentlemen, with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast.